Hello guys, welcome back to Go Discs. So we're back with more Doctor Who, modern Doctor Who, of course, the rankings. So at this point, of course, we are talking about the rankings of New Who, of course, from worst to best, of course. And this is so much look at Series 7 from 2012 and 2013. So yes, obviously this series is split, of course, and you got 5 episodes in 2012 and 8 episodes in 2013. Okay, just before the 50th anniversary celebrations of Day of the Doctor. So let's get around to this. So we've got the 11th Doctor played by Matt Smith. To clarify, Matt Smith's my least favourite Doctor, really. As much as he's a decent actor, of course. He's done interesting stuff, of course, like with playing Prince of the Crown, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, just other things really. I mean, also maybe that Ryan Gosling film he was in. What was it called now? Don't know. His Doctor, I find it just too kiddie. In a way, obviously it's appealing to the American market, of course, with the Matt Smith era, of course. It just feels too dumbed down, I would say, too complicated. It feels too, I don't know. I really can't get behind it all, really. It's like I struggle with this era really. Sometimes, but I'll probably say this era, well, this series really, is probably have been a bad batch really, I would say. So let's go for these. So we've got 5 episodes from 2012 with Amy Pond and Roy Williams, or Roy Bond, whatever you call him. This deals with the final adventures of the girl who the last century and the girl who waited. Stupid names they are, fucking stupid names. So we've got Asylum of the Daleks, rubbish. Dinosaurs On A Spaceship. It's alright actually. You got David Bradley in, and you got David Mitchell and Robert Webb in there as well. So in the voices, so it's okay actually. Also, you got like there's a few interesting was it John the Hunter and Queen Nefertiti as well, and also Mark Williams as Brian, Rory's father. Great. He's actually probably the highlight of Dinosaurs On A Spaceship. Mark Williams. Again, and then same again for Power of Three. A Town Called Mercy. Don't really care really for that one. I think one problem is I struggle with Matt Smith is the overconfidence, of course, with the characters like Rory and Amy. I find them too overpowerful, really. I mean, Clara Oswald is definitely overpowered. I mean, extreme. That's reach 11. That has volume, crank up to 11, and that's where you get Clara Oswald. Here, you sort of get that and try and tell the Doctor down very much. I mean, they're like sort of like friends, really. But I feel like they grasp on him too much. I would say, keep hold on him, whereas the Doctor should be just out there doing his own thing, of course, like what he does, even though he makes mistakes, of course. You don't really need some companions to really hold him back, really. I mean, sometimes it's kind of worth it to the plot, really, but they do it in a simpler way, of course, but not like on the scale of like with New Who, just try and make him a bare man or whatever. It's like, I just don't like that. Power of Three, it's an interesting idea actually with that one. So with cubes very much at that point, like doing like a slow invasion, of course. It is quite hastily, and the ending's quite hastily done in terms of like the Shaxi. Was it Stephen Bowkett? Is it no? It's Stephen. What is his face? He was an Octopussy. He played that general, didn't he? Funny enough, it's like, oh god, it's him. On D for prosthetics, but he was like a difficult actor to work with. So there we go. And then you've got Angels in Manhattan. I just don't really care for that, really. It's a bit of a pointless ending finale for, the Weeping Angels are back. Do we need them, really? I think at this point, of course, I'd probably say this is when the Angels start to lose their steam, absolutely. The previous two, I can get why. I mean, from the previous one in Series 5, that was actually pretty good sequel, actually. So, but with Angels in Manhattan, nah, just really care for that, really. Snowmen. It's okay, really. Bit middling, really. Bells of St. John is middling as well. Rings of Akhaten, middling. I don't say the bad stories, really, but I find them just average, middling, average, whatever you call it. Cold War. I'd probably say that's the only very one of the series. Down to it's, again, based on the siege story. Very alien, really Scott alien-esque, of course, as well. And that works perfectly, actually. But obviously people complain, obviously classic fans complain about, it's being out of its suit, really. They only did it the one time, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. They won't do it again. I think they won't do it again. They only learned it from that one mistake. Just doing something different with the Ice Warriors, of course. So there we go. But I do like the design. Very bulky as well, armory. So there we go. fantastic. Hyde, visually interesting in terms of, you know, direction, especially when the Doctor goes to that pocket world, really, in that like forest. That is actually pretty interesting. The Crooked Man himself, interesting design, like how he's edited, how it's filmed and everything. It's like, again, pretty scary, like a crooked seal, very much like, just, you know, very contorted as well, very creepy. I think you probably won't see that as like much in stories like that. Well, sometimes I think it's like one time that you can make it truly scary, like it's straight off a cheesy horror film, really. Let me go on that one. Dinner to the Centre of the TARDIS, average. Crimson Horror, an interesting one. A very interesting one, actually, because, you know, you got Dame Diana Rigg in it as well. She's actually pretty good. Harlot and her and the daughter, fantastic stuff. You got the whole revelation, like the reveal of Mr. Sweet as like a leech sucking on a chest. That is something. Okay, interesting. Like, you know, at least it's not sucking on the nipple. That's one thing. Like breastfeed, like an old lady breastfeeding an alien. No, don't put that. No, that's gonna be a horrible image in people's heads. That is. No. But I do think it's interesting, actually. You know, it's obviously it's more to do with paranoid scan first, and the Doctor turns up halfway through. He gets captured. Really, he sort of gets experimented on. You know, but yeah, I thought it was just interesting. Clara doesn't do much in this one. She's more passive. I think she's more passive in this series, of course, which I think most of us sort of like agree. No, that's okay. She's all right in this one. A bit bland and no personality, but not overbearing in places. She's just like average, really. But there we go. Nightmare Silver, rubbish, really. Even though it's from Neil Gaiman, even though I think behind the scenes Neil Gaiman's stuff was rewritten, everything else, you know, like he wasn't happy with the results, of course. We haven't seen him return to Doctor 2 in quite a while, actually. You know, he sort of like nearly eight years ago. So, you know, given time, he'll probably come back with some masterpieces and something like that, you know, alongside the Doctor's wife, whatever, you know. But Nightmare Silver, that is basically the yin and the yang, really. You got the yin, which is Doctor's wife, yang, Nightmare Silver, horrible, you know. Angianati, can't stand those. Name the Doctor, again, underwhelming. It felt very it's building up to what is to expect, you know, the Doctor, of course, enter his time, you know, great intelligence, whatever. The great intelligence are not really sort of the best idea, you know, like overarching. There should be like an interesting overarching villain, like Watch Over the Doctor or something, you know, but it really, you know, instead of the Impossible Girl stuff, really, you know, if a limit threat by the great intelligence, that would have been interesting. You know, that would have been the possible thing to do. Because obviously, Peter the Snowmen, Bill St. John, and Name of the Doctor. Here, that is basically, you know, it's like you get Richard E. Grant as Dr. Simeon, of course, you know, throughout these three stories, you know, and it just doesn't really lead anywhere. It's like you don't see towards the end credits, of course, you don't see Richard E. Grant looking over and saying, "Doctor," you know, it's like you know, I found you now, or whatever, I'm gonna kill you, or whatever. You know, it's like, you know, or tracking down the Doctor, you know, like. You know, from his first encounter with the Snowmen and Bell St. John, like they're actually secretly following him. Never leads up, really. He just pops out of nowhere with Whispermen, which are actually pretty interesting villains, really. But I don't know. I think just because the reveal of John Hurt at the end, it's like, yeah, okay. There we go. There we go on that front. So I'll leave it out there. I'll leave the specials to one side. I might combine them into one, really. You know, the 2009 specials and the 50th anniversary specials as well. Probably combine them into one video, which makes it a bit easier. You know, because they're sort of standalone things, really. You know, but sort of merge them all. I'll merge them all together. But just the series itself, you know, I just don't think it's Matt Smith's weakest ever, really, because obviously, you know, the stories don't work. They're all staying apart, and also they've been split. You know, you get 5 and 2012, which is probably the worst run in Doctor Who, really. Like, you know, I remember watching Rowan broadcast. You thought, you know, it felt like that low period. It's like, you know, it's not going well, really. And then you got the second part in 2013, and it felt like there's some decent stuff in it, but it feels. There we go. So Series 7, that's the next one after Series 9. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching. As always, see you for the next video, and goodbye.